So I hope now you are able to see the slide. I will
Yes, sir.
start.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now we start with a quick recap. Yesterday we started studying areas of morphology, and we looked at two processes. One is word formation, that is a lexical process which produces new vocabulary, and we looked at inflection, that is a grammatical process which produces forms of the same word. So there is a difference in these two processes. One is a grammatical process where you do not have a new word, but you have a form of a new word. So um, when we say talk, talked, talked, so they are the form of the same word. So talk is a present, talked is past, and again talked is past participle. We can also make it talks, fine, or talking. So there is no change in the form. Uh, there is no change in the word, but there is a change in the form that we have. So this process is actually inflectional, and it is a grammatical process. But we have a word formation process, that is a lexical process, and this process produces actually a new item. So under word formation, we have seen these two processes are there. One is derivation and another one is compounding. And we also discuss that how this derivation and compounding takes place, because there is a linear addition of morphemes, and it is through a mechanism that is known as concatenation. So this concatenation is actually a linear addition of morpheme, and when we discuss derivation, when we discuss compounding, we find that this linear addition takes place. Then we have discussed that how concatenation extends the root in different ways, and we have discussed these five ways: prefixing, suffixing, infixing, circumfixing, and compounding. At the same time, we have also looked at non concatenation process, and there are certain Semitic languages such as Arabic where we have these processes, but that is not the part of our course, but incidentally we also discussed. So we started discussing derivation, and two things we have discussed, that once a word is derived, then the word class is changed, but that is not the always. Sometimes word class is changed and sometimes it is not. But one thing is for sure, that the meaning is always changed. So these two things we also need to keep in mind, that when there is a derivation, then meaning will always change, but may and may not possibility is for the word class. So this we have seen with derivation, and we have seen that how we can do a derivation through prefixing, and through suffixing we can do derivation. Now we will proceed further. So when it comes to derivation, again there are two morphological processes that we have, and what are those processes that we have? The process is derivation by affixation, that we have already seen, that we have a prefix, we have a suffix, and another word is derived. But there is also a process and derivation by non-affixation. So this is also a process where no affix is added, but again there is a derivation. So of the two branches, affixation will be the focus of this book, the book that we are concerned taking into consideration, because it is highly productive in the creation of new vocabulary items in the language. So when it's come to derivation, then derivation is considered highly productive in word building and adding new vocabulary items in the language. So derivation is always is the limelight and will always be in the limelight, because this is the very productive process that we have. So affixation is the morphological process of deriving a new word by adding an affix, namely a bound morpheme. We have discussed previously as well, to a root or base. So this thing we do, we have an affix, we attach an affix to a root or a base, and then we have a new word. For example, the verb endear is formed by adding the affix en to the adjective dear. So we have a dear. Dear is an adjective. We write dear sir, dear ma'am, um, dear papa, dear mama. So when we write emails, when we write letters, then we use this type of dear. So dear is an adjective here. And how can adjective becomes a verb when we attach a prefix n and it becomes a verb. So affixes are bound morpheme which never occur on their own. So this thing we have also discussed previously, and again it is a reiteration that affixes are bound morphemes which never occur on their own. So they cannot occur on their own like root. They have semantic holes in their structure and so must be joined to other morphemes to fill them. Affixes can function as derivational morphemes. So these affixes, suffixes, and prefixes, they function as derivational morphemes that we have. So a derivational morpheme is an affix by means of which one word is derived from another. All affixes change the meaning of the derivative, the word which results from derivation. Some affixes change the word class of the root as in adjective. For example, expensive. Expensive is an adjective from the noun expense. So again, the word class is changed. So sometimes this thing happens that word class is changed and meaning will compulsory change. So what is expense is not what is expensive. So both have different meaning. Others do not change the word class of the root, as in the noun childhood. Childhood is the noun from the noun child. So hood is your affix. Hood here is the suffix. And once you attach hood to child, this derivational morpheme, then again there is a noun. So affixation comprises two modes, prefixation and suffixation. So we will discuss once again. Prefixation is the morphological process of forming a new word by attaching a bound morpheme to the front of a free morpheme. So we know that we have a free morpheme either in the form of a root or base, and then prefix comes before that. For example, the verb disagree is formed by adding the negative prefix dis to the root agree. So here the root is agree, and this root agree becomes a base, and to that base dis is attached, and we have a word like disagree. Suffixation is the morphological process of forming a new word by attaching a bound morpheme to the end of a free morpheme. So before is prefix, after is suffix. For example, the adjective agreeable. Agree is the root and it becomes a base for able, and once you have agree and able, it becomes agreeable. So agreeable is formed by adding the suffix able to the root agree. So this is very simple, very commonsensical how this prefixation and suffixation happens in the English language. Now this is one exercise that we will do together. So state the mode of affixation, prefixation, or suffixation uh, which is involved in the creation of the following morphological expressions. So any one of you can answer. So first one is subplot. So what is happening here?
So prefixation.
Yes, sub is a prefix here, so we have a subplot. So this is like morphological process is prefixation. Yes. Then stardom. Yes. What is happening here? Anyone? Yes, anyone can answer. Are you there?
Suffix.
Yes, suffix because dom, dom. Fine. So the meaning of dom is like house. Fine. So stardom, stardom like kingdom. So we have king and dom, kingdom like stardom. We have that type of. It's a suffix, suffixation. Yes. Anti-war.
Prefixation.
Yes.
Prefixation.
Yes. Prefixation because anti is your prefix. Fine. Anti means against. So against war is anti-war. Then heighten.
Suffixation.
Suffixation.
Yeah, suffixation here because en, and we attach en here. Tiresome.
Suffixation.
Yes, some, yes, some is your suffix. So here it happens like the suffixation, the process that we have. So it is quite simple, as you can see that you can easily find out that what is happening here. So it's not at all difficult to know these processes. So now we have seen that how through affixation derivation takes place, but now we will see how through non-affixation derivation also takes place. That means we have a new word, but there is no affix involved. So non-affixation is the morphological process of coining a new word by using a set of morphological devices. Now we will look at those morphological devices which are involved in forming a new word without using an affix. So previously we have seen that how affix, particularly prefix or suffix, they are involved in deriving a new word. So how this thing happens, uh, and we will also look at which are these devices. So first is acronymy. Now this first device is known as acronymy. Now what is this acronymy? Acronymy is a morphological device in which a new word is coined from the initial letters of other words, usually pronounced such as in UNESCO, from United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So this is the name of the organization, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, and in short, we can call it UNESCO. So UNESCO, we call it like a word. One word we say UNESCO. And this is an example of acronymy. Then we have initialism. Initialism is a morphological device in which the initial letters of words are used as an abbreviation for a name or an expression, usually pronounced separately, as in EU, from European Union. So European Union is known as E and U. So there is a difference between initialism and acronymy. I will ask you one question. So SMVDU, what is this? It is initialism or acronymy?
Acronym.
Acronym.
Okay. So someone who is saying acronymy can explain me why it is acronymy? Anyone? Yes, anyone? Why it is acronymy? Or someone who is saying it initialism can explain me that why it is initialism?
So it is initialism because the initials are said as separate letters.
Okay, so you say that initial letters of words are used. Fine. So here again, initial letters of the words are used in UNESCO. U is used, N is used, E is used, S, then C and O. So here again, initial letters of the words are used.
But sir, we don't say it as UNESCO, whereas in SMVDU as SMVDU.
Yes, good. So the thing is, uh, when you coin a word or when you use initial letters, and if you are in position to pronounce those initial letters like one word, like UNESCO, then it is an example of acronymy. For example, WHO, and you can also say who. You can pronounce it like who. WHO, you can pronounce it like who. Like UNICEF, you can pronounce it like that as a word. But here with SMVDU or with EU, you cannot pronounce it like a word, you need to pronounce every letter separately. So that is the difference between initialism and acronymy. So we have seen two morphological devices. One is acronymy and what is initialism. So many people, they can't make a difference between initialism and acronymy, but now I suppose that you know how to make a difference between them. So these two are non affixation, fine, uh, processes. Now again, one more process is back formation. Now what is this back formation? So back formation is a morphological device whereby a new word is coined from an existing one by removing actual or supposed affixes. So we know that words, they are derived from the existing words. So let's say there is a word like burglar. Fine, burglar is the word. So initially burglar was the word, and burglar is a noun, and what you have done, you have deleted ar and you have made it a verb like burgle. That is the thing, that is known as back formation. Similarly, initial word initial word was editor. You know, like who is an editor? Like nowadays we have newspapers, and every newspaper has an editor. So editor, initial word was editor, but what we have done, using this morphological device back formation, we have removed or from the editor and the word becomes edit. So this is again an example of back formation. I give you one more example. There is a word like enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a word. So enthusiasm initially was the word, and what we did, we made a verb, enthuse. Fine, from enthusiasm we have made a word enthuse. So this is like, what happens, a new word is coined from an existing one by removing actual or supposed affixes. So we think that okay, these last two letters in burglar are like affixes, and we remove them and we make a word like burgle. So that process is known as back formation. Another process, a morphological device under non-affixation, is blending. So blending is a morphological device by which a new word is coined by combining parts of two words, usually the first part of one with the last part of another. So we have a word like smog, S-M-O-G, smog, and smoke, from smoke and fog. So when we attach these two, so in winter generally in cities we find this problem of smog. So we know like smoke, so it's like a pollutant that we have, and fog, that natural thing we have. So when we attach these two things, smog and fog, then we have smog. This example is known as blending. So we have breakfast and we have lunch. So what is the blending? Can anyone tell me?
Brunch.
Brunch. So that is, brunch is an example of blending. You have breakfast and lunch. So sometimes you say, okay, I have taken my brunch. That means you are talking about that neither you have taken breakfast nor you have taken your lunch, but something like in between that you have taken, that becomes your. So you have a word like information and you have a word like entertainment. Then what will become? What it will become? Information and entertainment. The blending will become, yes, who will tell me? Infotainment. What will become? Infotainment. So info from information and tainment from entertainment. Infotainment, that is an example of blending. So likewise, you have so many words that you have derived from this non-affixation process, and here You have this blending. Then you have another process that is known as clipping. Now, what is clipping? Clipping is a morphological device whereby a new word is coined by retaining only one of its part. The beginning as in lab. So you have a word like laboratory, and you won't say laboratory, but you say lab. So lab is like a clipping, a cutting. Fine. So it becomes like a lab you pronounce. In the end, as in plane, from aeroplane. So generally you have aeroplane, but you won't say aeroplane all the time, you say plane. So I have booked my plane tickets. You won't say I have booked my aeroplane tickets. So it is understood like you are talking about plane. So this is like clipping, and this is again a part of clipping. So beginning, and it is also in the end. So, and sometimes it is in the middle as well. So you have influenza, and you won't say the complete influenza, but generally you say flu. So flu is like in between, only the between part you are using. So this is again an example of clipping. So what is clipping? A new word is coined by retaining only one of its part, either the beginning part or the end part or the middle part. So lots of words you have of clipping as well in the English language. Again, it is a non-affixation process. Now, another non-affixation process is reduplication. So you already know the meaning of making something duplicate. You know, like duplicate is a copy of a copy. So what is reduplication? Again, it is a morphological device by which a new word is coined by repeating the entire of the word or part of it. So what you will do, either you repeat the entire word, like big, and you say very big. Then you say very, very, very big. So very, very, very is like the example of full reduplication. I am repeating very three times here. Very, very, very. So you say bye, and then you say bye bye. You say bye bye. Fine. So what is this? Again, full repeat. Full. When I say bye bye, then it is full reduplication. If I say bye bye, then bye bye. It is partial. I am not completely saying by two times, but I'm just using by. Fine. So that is partial reduplication. So again, willy nilly, dilly dally, like dilly dally, willy nilly. Fine. So this is partial, and ablot is in ping pong. So ablot is an example in ping pong. Ablot, because there is a change of vowel. Here you can see in ping there is e sound, and in pong there is an o sound. So this process is known as ablot. Like sing, like you have sing, and then sing, sang, sung. So what is happening here in these three forms? Sing, sang, sung. Sing is in the present, sang is the past, and sung is the past participle. You have a change of vowel. In sing you have e, in sang you have a, and in sung you have a. So again, that is an example of ablot where there is a change of a vowel. So here, ping pong, everything is same, but what is the difference? You have this, like ding dong, fine, that type of thing. You have ping and pong. So I hope you have understood this reduplication. Two types, partial and full. And you have also example of ablot as well. So this is reduplication. In Hindi, we also have reduplication. So someone, when a guest comes to your house, then you say chai why, chai why. So what is why? Why is again an example of partial reduplication. Chai, you know the meaning of chai, but you do not know the meaning of why. So why includes like some snacks, fine. Why includes something else than chai, something extra than the chai. So that is like chai and why that you have. That is an example of reduplication. Khana wana, or like in Dogri we say khana shana. What khana shana? So sha, we use sha. In Hindi we use wa, khana wana, and in Dogri we use khana shana. So that is again the example of partial reduplication that we have. Conversion. This is another process under non-affixation. Conversion is a morphological device wherein a new word is coined from an existing word by a change in its part of speech. So we change the part of speech. So you know father. Father is noun. But when we say he fathered three children, so I say he fathered three children. That means I am making a noun into a verb. So that is conversion. So what I am doing, I am changing the part of speech. Father is noun and I am making it a verb, as in the verb to house. From the noun house. House we know already a noun, and we say like he housed those people. He housed those people. So again, what you are doing, you are making a word that is actually a noun, and you are making it like beach the boat. Beach the boat. Beach is a noun, but beach the boat. I am making beach a verb. So. So this is the process that we know is conversions, and in conversion you actually change the part of speech. So this one activity for all of you, and we will do it together. So state the devices of non-affixation used in forming the following morphological expressions. Then give the originals from which they are formed. Yes, AD. Who will tell me what type of morphological device is used in AD? Yes, yes, Gursimar. Are you there, Gursimar?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is happening here in AD? Yes, unmute yourself and tell.
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell anything. There is no problem if you tell wrong. There is no problem in that. If AD is there, then what is happening here? Any idea? Tell. Or anyone, any other person who has the idea? What is happening here in AD?
Sir, clipping,
Yes, that is the right answer. Clipping, Sania. Good. But what is the actual word then?
advertisement,
Yes,
advertisement.
yes, advertisement. Yes, advertisement is the actual word, and what we are just using the first part, the beginning, ad. So this is the correct answer. Now we have edit. What is happening here in edit? I already gave you example of edit. Yes, Gursimar. What is happening in edit? Any other person? This is an example of back formation. This is an example of back formation. So actual word is editor, and from editor, this word edit has been derived. So this is edit is an example of back formation. Okay, third one is very simple, very easy. Who will tell me? VIP. Yes, who will tell me
Sir,
VIP?
initialism. Initialism.
VIP, yes, it is an example of initialism. Good. So what is the actual word? What is the original form of VIP?
Very important person.
Yes, very important person. Yes, that is the original form. Motel. Motel is an example of. Yes, who will tell me? Motel is an example of.
Sir, blending,
Yes, the answer is correct. So tell me, what are the two words that you are blending? No
sir,
idea?
hotel and
Motor
motor.
hotel.
Yes, motor and hotel. So motor and hotel, that is known as motel. Fine. So that is fine. Now the last one. Who will tell me the last one?
Acronymy.
Yes, it is an example of acronymy. Acronymy. device is used, word formation device, and what is the actual form?
So North and
North
Atlantic
Atlantic
Treaty
Treaty
Organization.
Organization.
Yes, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So that is the actual form. So this is quite simple, quite easy, and I stop here. So as you can see that how gradually, how slowly we are adding to our knowledge, and we are learning new things each